Welcome to Beyond Great Sex, the podcast that will revolutionize your sex life. I'm Morgan Horn. I'm a sex and intimacy coach, and I am going to give you the tools to create the mind-blowing sex life that you've been craving. When you apply the teachings from this podcast, you will drop the shame, limiting beliefs, and everything else that has been keeping you from enjoying the intimacy that you were designed to experience. Instead, you will unleash your unlimited potential, sexual and beyond. When you work with me, great sex is only the beginning. We're going beyond. Hey, lovelies. How are you on this sunny day? It is sunny where I'm recording anyway. Today, we're going to talk about what it means to lose desire. You will have noticed that I wrote the word lose in the title of this episode in quotation marks. You'll soon understand why. But first, I want to mention that I'm going to split this topic into 2 episodes. Today, we're going to explore the generalized lack of desire. That is, when you feel that you have a low or non-existent libido. And next week, we will discuss the lack of sex drive within the relationship, when you feel sexual desire, just not towards your partner. So, why do I use quotation marks? Well, simply because I don't like the word losing when talking about desire, because it implies that desire is something that happens to us spontaneously without any control on our part, and that we can therefore lose it. When in reality, desire is an emotion that we feel in the body, just like other emotions like anger, sadness, or joy, and we create these emotions with our thoughts. So we cannot lose desire, but we can stop creating it. To give you an example, if you think my partner doesn't respect me and it makes me angry, you will most probably feel irritated, disrespected, or angry. If you think, on the other hand, my partner is so affectionate and respectful towards me, you will feel affection, love, you will feel valued, respected. You will notice that at no point did I mention your partner's behavior, because it is not his or her behavior that generates emotions in you. It is always your thoughts about their behavior. Nothing external to us can make us feel anything. Everything comes from our thoughts. Now, let's not kid ourselves. There are circumstances that make it easier to have positive thoughts than others. When your partner tells you, I love you, you are the love of my life, it's easier to feel love than when they tell you, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving you. That being said, we always get to choose how we want to interpret an event, what we want to make it mean. And the process is the same for desire. If your sex drive is at its lowest and you want to boost it, you need to think thoughts that will create an environment that will enable your desire. And I'm not just talking about having thoughts directly related to sex that create desire, like, I want you, you turn me on, or whatever. I'm also talking about not entertaining thoughts that generate emotions that block desire. It's the principle of turning on the ons, but most importantly, turning off the offs. For our body to feel desire, it must feel safe, both emotionally and physically. Emotions such as stress, anxiety, exhaustion, or self-loathing, for example, generally block desire because our body and nervous system go into survival mode. And physically, this translates into a body that tenses up, contracts, and shuts down. To feel desire, we need a body that opens up, relaxes, and expands. You can do the test right now by scanning your body when you have a thought. For example, if you think that your body is beautiful, sexy, that it deserves to be touched, caressed, to receive pleasure, that you have beautiful breasts and a cute butt, what do you feel? I feel love, affection, a bit of pride. I feel excited, confident. And how would you describe the sensations in your body? When I think that way about my body, I feel an openness, a lightness. I feel warmth in my body. I feel filled with love, and I see warm and reassuring colors fill my body. This is an environment that is enabling of desire, a body that feels safe, that relaxes and opens up. Now, if you think that your body is disgusting, that you're fat, that your belly is gross, that your breasts are saggy, that your ass is ugly, that you want to hide, that no one would ever want to touch that body, what do you feel? I feel shame, anger, disgust, sadness, despair, and the sensations in my body are rough. I feel attacked. I feel tense everywhere. My chest feels constricted, like a huge weight is sitting on it. Tears start bubbling up. All is heavy and dark gray, the opposite of an environment conducive to desire. My body feels attacked and shuts down completely. Many things can happen in life that make it difficult for our body to connect to pleasure, like stress at work, self-loathing, tensions within the relationship, physical and mental exhaustion. But whatever the cause of this drop in libido, it all boils down to the principle that all these blocking emotions are generated by our thoughts. We can't always change our circumstances. However, we can choose how we will think about them, how we will react. By working on our thoughts, we can reopen our body to the feeling of desire. I can already hear you saying, okay, but what about hormones and sickness or other physical causes that impact our libido? It's not all about thoughts. I hear you. When I say that in order to feel desire, you simply need to think thoughts that generate that desire, I'm obviously not talking about times when one goes through physical trauma or serious illness. When that happens, the body needs to heal, and desire is rightfully not its priority. Thought work does not solve all our problems. That being said, you hear about people who were supposedly condemned, refused to give up, convinced that they're going to live, and so do they, against all odds. Just like more and more research agrees that stress is the root cause of many diseases, stress being an emotion generated by our thoughts. We therefore cannot neglect the power of thought. Yes, a low sex drive can be caused by medication such as antidepressants or physical trauma or other illnesses. But as we have just seen, many of the triggers of these disorders are psychological, caused by our thoughts. This is why I'm deeply convinced that freeing ourselves from the limiting beliefs we entertain is the solution to 90% of our problems in all areas of our life. Coaching has profoundly changed my life because without changing my circumstances, I have completely changed my way of seeing myself and approaching life. And from there, my circumstances only got better. Understandably, our first instinct when we experience a low sex drive is to ask ourselves what is wrong with our body, because it is true that desire is something we feel. It's an emotion that runs through our body, just as sexual arousal is a sensation that happens in the body. But everything starts with our thoughts. That's why no pill has yet been found to really boost women's libido. Researchers have tried to invent the equivalent of male Viagra for women, but it didn't work. It was actually released on the American market in 2015, but was just as quickly withdrawn because Viagra is a purely mechanical solution. Yes, it can provoke an erection by increasing blood flow in the penis, but Viagra will never generate the emotion of desire or sensation of arousal. If there is an emotional blockage, Viagra will not solve it. Very few sexual problems are in fact mechanical, even when they translate into physical symptoms such as vaginal pain. And I'll get into that in more detail in a future episode. Yet, when women report issues with their libido, the first thing I always hear is, it must be hormonal, or it's the menopause. Right. I won't go into detail about hormones and menopause as I plan to record a separate episode on the subject, but for now, I will say that although an extreme hormonal shock such as postpartum depression can have an impact on a woman's libido, hormonal imbalances are rarely the culprit of a drop in desire. You can experience hormonal imbalances and still have a high libido. I know this for a fact. I have been dealing with hormonal disorders for over 20 years, and my libido has never suffered from it because I know too well how to cultivate my desire. So, what I want to invite you to do this week is to scan your body, like I did in this episode, to witness the emotions you create on any given day. Do you think these emotions are conducive to feeling more desire in your body? To help you with this exercise, you can ask yourself the following questions. What am I thinking now? And write down your thought. Then you can ask yourself, What emotion does this thought make me feel? This is an interesting exercise because you will likely realize that you're not used to paying attention to your emotions. Most of us are only aware of a few, like fear, anger, sadness, joy, yet our emotions are far more nuanced. A tool that can help you name your emotions is the emotion wheel. You can search for it on Google. There are tons of examples. Then you can ask yourself the question, what are the sensations in my body? Because each emotion will translate into sensations in your body, like heat, tension, weight, colors, images, tingling, chills. Feeling ashamed will not cause you to feel the same sensations as anger, for example. This is a powerful exercise because understanding how each emotion translates into our body helps us connect to ourselves deeply and to better understand why we then react as we do. And then you can ask yourself, is this going to enable desire? In other words, do I tend to turn on my ons or turn on my offs? This is an introspective exercise. Then, if you want to take this further, you can ask yourself what other emotions you would like to feel and what thoughts you would need to cultivate to generate those emotions. But just by scanning your body, you will already learn a whole lot about yourself. All right, lovelies, I wish you a fun introspection, and I will see you next Wednesday. If you have loved this episode, please add a rating, write a review, and share it around to help spread the word to all the women out there who need to hear this. I am so grateful for you listening. And if you are ready to take this work deeper, book your discovery session with me at www.morganhorn.com. That is MORGANEHORN.com. We will explore any issue you would like help with, and you will learn all about my coaching program so you can get started on creating the sex life of your wildest dreams. I will see you there.